Hello and welcome to Technique Tuesday. Yes, this is Thursday, and my Technique Tuesdays are live on the last Tuesday of every month. However, this past Tuesday, we had huge internet problems. And I don't know if it was related to a snowstorm we had here in Minnesota or what the problem was, but there was a definite problem. So I'm bringing this to you via recording on YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed today's recorded version of Technique Tuesday. So my next live version of Technique Tuesday will be on Tuesday, March 29th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. So this month I had decided that we were going to talk about paper piecing. Paper piecing is not new. It is an old technique, but it could be very new to you. And it's an oldie but a goodie. All right, so I'm Brenda Hillard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in central Minnesota, and I can be found at createwithbrenda.com. Be sure to check it out. I offer a monthly host code gifts. I come to you live Saturday mornings on Facebook with a coffee and create. So check it out. I would love to have you join me, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share because that's how my business grows. All right, let's get started. I'm just going to share with you my monthly host code. I don't know exactly. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Let's go back to our monthly host code for February. There it is. And I just want to share that with you because if your order is under $150, you'll want to include this on your order. Okay. So, and that too can be found on my blog at createwithbrenda.com. All right. Enough. Let's get started. So, the first card that I had in store for us, and this was on Tuesday, looks like this. It's a bit of a fun fold, not exactly a fun fold, but a bit of a fun fold, and it flips up like so, okay? So we'll quickly put this one together, and when I say quickly, I want to show you what's quick about it is the assembly of the card base. So is what we have is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of basic white. I have a piece of designer series paper that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal to this piece. And we're going to add that onto our single piece of cardstock. Now you're like, that's not a card base, and you're right. It's just a single flat piece, okay? Here's where the fun fold part comes in. You'll need a piece of basic white that measures 2 3/4 by 8 inches, scored at 4. And then we're just going to match up our edges, and we're going to burnish our score line so we get a nice tight crease, okay? And I want to do, what do I want to do? I'm going to add some little pieces here. Let's see what I have for pieces. You'll need I don't think I have everything I need, so hold on. Like I said, this is a redo. So it always gets interesting when you have redos and what's in your little tote of things. But I'm gonna do, I want this strip for sure. And I want this strip too. Because what I'll do is bring in my little trimmer, and I'm just going to cut a piece that measures 2 3/4 by 1. There we go. Now I have everything we need. All right. So this piece, I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal and I'm going to add it right down here to the bottom. Like that. And then I need a scrap of basic white. And is what I'm going to do is just stamp our little, show you the stamps that we're using. And this set, you guys, the clock is ticking. Celebration ends in just 4 days. And this is one of the celebration sets that you can pick for free or at no cost with a $50 product order. It's super cute. It's called Driving By. And is what I'm going to be using out of this set is this little van. It reminds me of a Volkswagen van from the 70s. Doesn't it you? I'm going to just stamp that right here on my scrap. And then I'm also going to take a piece of designer series paper, and this is the paper piercing technique. And is what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get that, I want the rainbow here on my van. So I'm going to stamp just like that. So I get that little rainbow in there. I just love that. The only thing we're missing on here is a peace sign, right? All right. Can you tell I was a 70s child? Yes, yes, yes. All right. I'm going to move that off to the side for right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our light. I'm going to take our light smoky slate, and I'm going to be using the paintbrush end, and I'm just going to color in the windows. All right, a little bit. And then I'm going to just go back in and make the edge, the back edge on the windows just a little bit darker to give it some visual interest, okay? Color in our hubcaps. And then I'm going to use the bullet end, color the tires. The bullet end on Stampin' Blends delivers a little bit more concentrated color, so it actually looks darker, but it's not. It's good. Blends, hence Stampin' Blends, right? And then the only other thing that I want to add some ink to is there's just this teeny tiny little exhaust pipe right here. And you barely see it, but I know it's there, so I wanted to color it in. I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to go around and cut out the van. And I'm staying outside the black stamped lines, okay? And remember, when you do your, we call this fussy cutting if you aren't familiar, but when you fussy cut out, you want to hold your scissor and turn your paper, and that's what gives you the nice smooth cutting edges instead of them being jagged where you move your scissor and move forward. If that makes any sense, but I think you know what I mean. So just turning the paper, I get my nice little van. Okay, then we're going to take our designer series paper, and I'm just going to go around, roughly around my van. Show you why in just a second here. So I'm going to go around leaving the black edge. And then I want to just cut straight across below that first stamping line. So I get just this tiny little piece, and we're going to put that on our van just like that in a moment. And now let's cut out the body too. So I'm going to cut on that line just above the doors. So we're going to skip that whole window piece. And then I'm just going to go around. And I'm just going to cut right on the top tire line because I want to leave that, like that fender, like that bumper. I want to leave that on there. Cut across the bottom. Oops. And then I'm going to go up and around that fender again. Like that. You guys, I was joking on what was recorded. It's like maybe I should call my Technique Tuesdays Technical Tuesday. Man, did we have issues with internet. But again, like I said, I'm sure it was just due to the weather we experienced here the last few days. We had, I don't know, I haven't heard like the official, but I'm guessing we had anywhere from 12 to 16 inches of snow. It's unbelievable the piles of snow we have. Yesterday I had to go into, I call it town just because we live out of town by about 16 or 18 miles. And the snowbanks were like, oh, you couldn't even see around them. I haven't seen snowbanks that big for a long, long time. All right, I'm going to add some adhesive now to this body of the van. And then we're going to put our paper piece that we just cut. So you guys, this right here, the van, is what we refer to as paper piecing. It's where you replace part of your stamped image with designer series paper or another color, and you piece it onto your stamped image. But doesn't that just remind you of, like, seriously, like a 70s van? I just love it. So the other cool thing that I'm using here is the Sunshine and Rainbows. This is a 6x6 paper pack that you can choose. Again, with a $50 purchase. It's a free item with a $50 purchase out of the celebration brochure. Celebration ends at midnight Mountain Time on February 28th. So there isn't a lot of time left, but this paper is so bright and so cheery. I just love it. And in there's a piece of paper that looks like this that has these clouds. It coordinates with our cloud punch, which, how cute is that? So is what I want to do is I'm going to punch out this cloud. I just want to cut this little piece off so that it fits in my punch better. I'm just going to line that up and punch it out. And then there's a partial cloud right here. And I'll use that too. So I'm just going to line up cut this off a little bit because I want it to fit in there. And I may have cut it too much, which is fine. So I'm going to show you something. You can take a piece of your Post-it note, put it right on there to make an extender, fit it in your punch, and punch. Okay? So now I'm going to be able to put this in on my card. So let's do that. We'll add some Stampin' Seal. I'll have it hang over just a little bit. And then I'll add some Stampin' Seal to this one. And put that right here. You know what? I actually wanted dimensionals on that one. So I'm going to just take my little remnant pieces and I'll put it right over where I put the Stampin' Seal so that it stays, I want it raised up just that little bit, okay? I'm just going to peel off my backings. And this take your pick tool is invaluable, really. And I'm just going to raise that up here a little bit. And I'm just going to overlap them so you don't see that cut edge, okay? While we have our dimensionals, let's then put some on our little van here. Just like that. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the end because I have a card I'm going to show you using this technique. And I'm going to be doing a little card class next month. So, and it'll be a to-go card class. So if you're long distance and you want to participate, you'll be able to do that. All right, so here's our little focal piece. I'm going to take a scrap of, and where did I put my, let's just grab one. Just like this. And I'm going to stamp the driving by just to say hi. Just like that. I'm going to try one more time because I didn't get it real straight. Still didn't. There. I like that one. And I'm not going to worry about these too much because I haven't. Well, you know what? Let's do it right now. Look. I'm going to cut this out because I stamped it crooked. I'm just going to straighten it out. Just like that. And I don't want it to be, I don't want it to say hi. I want it to say happy birthday. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to add it right down here. And maybe is what I'll do. This is called designing on the fly, you guys. I had no intention of doing this on this video, but we're going to do it. All right, I'm going to bring in my mini dimensionals now. I'm going to add those to the back. Oh, this is fun. I just had a really fun idea for this. Okay, I'm going to do the driving by like that. I think I wanted one more dimensional in there. Kind of sagging in the middle, no sagging, right? I'm going to lift this up. Add one more. There. Perfect. And then I'm going to add some minis on the back of this. And I'm going to put that right here, driving by, just to say, how cute is that, right? All right. Now, paper piecing. So this piece of paper that I used to get the, look at, just the wheels are left. I'm going to flip it over because I love these little sunshines on the back. And I'm just going to cut some little rays of sunshine, like quickly. And you see how quick it goes when you move your paper, right? I'm going around and around, just like that, because if I'm driving by to say happy birthday, I want a little bit of sunshine coming out of those clouds, right? So I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal to the back. And this part that I didn't fussy cut, I'm going to just stick it down in the clouds. But now I have a little bit of sunshine. I love that. So now on the inside, driving by just to say, what are we going to say? Let's say, here's another set from Celebration. This you get with a pack of designer series paper and the stamp set, and that's for $100 product purchase. But in here, I love this. It says, hope you have the best birthday. Do I want that or do I want a happy birthday? I'm going to show you another technique here because we are doing Technique Tuesday. I have a little stamp right here that says another year flies by, happy birthday. But I don't want flies by, I don't think. So I'm going to take my Post-it note and I'm going to just mask off that part of the sentiment. Let's try it one more time because it didn't want to stick real well. Maybe I should do this with the sticky and this end with the sticky. And when I say the sticky, I mean on the Post-it note so it stays. Okay, so I have it pressed down on there well, and I'm going to ink. And as all I wanted inked was the happy birthday. So now, and being this is photopolymer, I'm going to want my silicone mat underneath for a little more cushion. And I'm just going to stamp happy birthday. There. I love that. I do have a little bit of residual ink because I had done a card earlier and I didn't clean my stamp. Shame on me. I'm just going to use my sand eraser. And these I order off from Amazon. These are not Stampin' Up, but they work really well for those accidental little blurbs. So there. Now I have happy birthday. How good is that? Let's put that on the card. And I'm going to add that right in the center here. So now my card looks like this. I hope you like this project. Be sure to comment. I love comments. I look for them all the time. I'm just going to set that to the side for right now because I do have a bunch of these to show you, and they do take a little bit of time, like I said, with the fussy cutting for the paper piecing. But you know, if you don't have the dies and you're kind of limited with your tools, like I said, you don't have dies, you don't have a lot of markers or any of that stuff yet. Notice I say yet. But this is a great way to decorate up your cards and give them that extra fancy look. All right, so let's do this. I think I've got my station cleaned up enough that I can move forward. So the next set that I want to show you, and I want you to go through your stamp sets too, and seriously take a look at all of the stamp sets you have that would work for paper piecing. It's amazing what you have. But the one that I saw that I thought worked really well for paper piecing is this one. It's called In the Moment. And if you go into the January through June mini catalog, you'll find it in there. It's stamp set 157987. And let me show you what we've got with this one. I have just a piece of 3x3 square cardstock. I'm going to be using this gal that's sitting in her window seat, just looking out the window. And is what I want to stamp is, I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black. And the reason I'm saying that is because parts of this I'm going to color with the Stampin' blends, or you could use our blender brushes, or you could use colored pencil. So markers, there's lots of options there. But I chose this because I'm going to be using our alcohol-based Stampin' blends, and I don't want my ink to move. All right, I'm going to take another scrap piece of basic white. I'm going to ink this up, and as all I really care about on this is that I get the relax. That's what I want for right now. All right, I'm just going to blot this ink off so I don't get it on my next piece, okay? And I have a card base, a standard card base that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm going to stamp the full sentiment on the inside of the card. So on the inside, it's going to say, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax. Okay? I think that's all of our stamping. So now it's, oh no, not true. We have one more thing to do. So I have a scrap right here of the pattern play. This is out of the annual catalog, and it's found way in the back. It's if you host a party, you have the option to buy this 48 pack 12 by 12 paper. It's amazing, and it is a lot of paper for just $18. So let's bring our tuxedo black ink back in, and we have our girl sitting in the window seat. And is all I need to make sure that I get on here is, you could call that a shirt and jeans, but I'm calling it pajamas. Because the other day when it snowed big, I declared a pajama day. And it was awesome to just have a relaxing day in my pajamas and enjoy my craft room. All right. So then one more thing on the back side of this paper, there is a pattern that I want. And is what I'm going to do is ink up, and I just want to make sure that I get those pillows in there. Okay. I've got my pillows. And there we go. Now we are truly done stamping. All right. So here's what we're going to cut out her pajamas. Did you see me do a quick check? Like, did I stamp on the right side? Which I did. No worries. And I do cut these out separate because there's this one area right in here that you wouldn't be able to get to if you didn't cut her pajama top and her pajama pants apart. Okay. I'm just cutting up, and I hope that you find it funny that I can't talk and cut paper at the same time. It takes some serious concentration for me. All right, I'm gonna go up and around and get her shirt right now. pajama top. And her hair right here on her shoulders is not going to matter. It will blend in with our stamped image. And you want to keep, again, the line. Okay, so this is the only part you have to split. The rest of it you can leave solid. So there's that. And then let's get these pillows. So I want to go up along her leg, around her pajamas, and then up and around the pillows. So there's that. And then there's one little piece of pillow right down here. And it's really hard to see my line. I'll just kind of guess. We'll see how guessing works out for this, huh? All right. So is what we're going to do. We're going to put adhesive on her pajama top and her bottoms. And then I'm just going to glue this down, matching up those lines. So how good is that? I mean, even that, doesn't it just make that whole stamp just pop? All right, let's find our little pillow pieces here. Here's one. And I'm going to just add some adhesive on our pillows. I like that. It gives that little print. And then we'll see how good we did at guessing where our stamp lines were for this. I think it'll be okay. Sure. And I'm just going to trim it just a little bit. There. So now we have patterned pillows. I think you can see that, okay? Yeah. So we're going to give her some blonde hair. I'm going to use my light Daffodil Delight. I want her hair barrette to match her leopard print pajamas. So I'm just going to take the Flirty Flamingo and color in her barrette. And I also want to give her coffee cup a little bit of color. Again, using the light smoky slate. Whoops. And the paintbrush edge. I'm going to go in and just kind of randomly add some color. And the reason I decided to make this gray is I wanted it to look like she was like sitting having coffee, just waiting for the sun to come up. I think that looks good. All right. And what else did I have here? Oh, I forgot something very important to tell you. So, coming in the annual catalog is going to be these, they're calling them skin tone neutral Stampin' Blends. They did sell out really fast, but they are coming in the annual catalog. These are numbered. So this is the 1000 and then it goes up to, I believe it's 100. But this is the lightest color and I wanted that just to color her skin. And I'll show you something in just a minute. Okay, so there's the 1000. Let me grab the 2000 marker, or I'm sorry, the 900. So I'm just going to now blend over the top, and now we get this color skin tone. How cool is that, right? All right, let's move on with our card. So remember where I stamped this and I said I wanted just the relax portion? I'm going to cut the rest of it off. And I just want to go around these letters just to give it like a rounded edge, kind of a relaxed look. And you don't have to be exact, but just kind of, you can see what I'm doing, moving the paper and just kind of going in and around. A lot of times too, when you're fussy cutting like this, it's good just to get rid of that excess paper so that you can easily move it around and get the look you want with your words. Okay. So now is what I want is to bring in my minis. And I'm just going to put some mini dimensionals on the back. Take off the backings. And I can just set that right in here. All right, let's assemble our card because that is it for the paper piecing on here. But isn't that crazy how much it adds just to do a little bit of paper? All right, so for this card, I have a piece of designer series paper that measures 4 by 5 1/4. Before I glue this down, I'm going to take some of our black and white gingham ribbon, and I'm just going to tie that around here. Now, if bows aren't your thing, you can tie a knot, but bows are my thing. You will see a lot of times I have ribbon tied in bows on my card. Give that a good pull to tighten my knot, straighten it up on there, and then I can just snip my end. And if I don't have my bow right where I want it, it slides, so I can move it where I want it. I'm going to add my adhesive now. And I'm just going to put that right on the front of my card. I'm going to center it so I have those even borders. And then my dimensionals. So I'm going to use the black dimensionals just because, no, I'm not. Let me get I was going to say just because I was out of them at my video station here, but it's that easy to get a new pack. Lots of new dimensionals, you guys know what that means. Lots of card making coming up. All right. Just going to add these onto our paper pieced focal spot. Add that to the front of my card. And I can still move my bow. All right. So there's our card. Now, I did do cards using all 3 of the images in here. Let me show those to you. I have this one where I just paper pieced her dress and her hat, colored in the dock railing with the pier railing with her glass of wine. I used the beautiful paper from On the Horizon, and then the sentiments come from that happy and heartfelt. So it says, no matter what, you matter to me. This paper, you guys, is gorgeous. Check that out. On the Horizon. And then I did this one where she's in just like her great big snug sack with her adorable little puppy, her cup of coffee, and a good book. And that just says, wishes for a carefree day. Happy birthday. So there's that group of cards using the paper piecing technique. And I have one more to show you. And this is the one I said to stay tuned. I will be having a card class in March using the Kite Delight stamp set. This is really, really a cute stamp set, and I hope you'll sign up for my class to go. So here's the card that I did with this one. I stamped my kite just like this. And look how quick these cut out. Just boom. I mean, they're just straight lines, right? The background on that card is the Simply Marvelous paper. And that is in the celebration brochure as well. So that means 4 days, just 4 days to get that paper. All right. And that is with a $50 product purchase. Simply Marvelous 6x6 designer series pack. All right. So then I just took scraps. Polished pink. This is the fresh freesia. Pale papaya. And I used a little bit of the soft succulent for the bows on the kite tail. But how cute, right? How fun. And we all have strips. And I know there's a lot of you out there with these colors because I had a lot of people purchase my In Color Club. So I know you have these colors, and how easy is that? All right, you guys, until the next Technique Tuesday on Tuesday, March 29th, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on Facebook, barring no technical issues. See you then. Bye-bye.